Welcome back in, everybody. If you did not check out the front nine yet, here is your little recap. Dave Lay in the lead at 5 under. Andrew Mahan sitting at 2 under. John Mahan 1 under. And Bros Kalalori sitting at even. A very intense first round. Dave pulling away with this one a bit. A lot of birdies. Only one bogey for him on the front nine. Very good start for him. But we're heading on over to hole 10. 271 feet. Wide open fairway. Just need to be able to find a way to get as close to the basket as you possibly can to set yourself up for birdie. Green relatively flat here. And first up to the tee pad, Dave after his birdie on hole 9. Dave in the lead. Good hyzer line out of him. He's going to be a little bit deep for him. Now over to John, sitting at 1 under. Gonna go with the lefty backhand. Good hyzer line out of him. He's gonna have a better shot than Dave did. Looking to be about 15 foot for the birdie putt. Now over to Bros for this righty backhand line, trying to get a better line than Dave had. Bros currently sitting at even. He's gonna pull it to the right side. He's gonna find his way in a place where you really don't want to be. He's going to be in the woods. Going to be a tough one to try and accomplish birdie. Now over to Andrew. Andrew going the sole forehand here on this hole. Going to hyzer out a little bit early, but he's definitely going to have a chance. Inside circle 1 for the birdie putt. Rose now just trying to get out of the woods here. He just lays up about a 20 foot approach shot or par. Over to Dave now for birdie with a little deep birdie putt. Lines it up. Misses low and right. Now over to Bros to save par. Lines it up. Releases. Catches the top of the frame, unable to connect on that par putt. Now over to Andrew for birdie. He connects on it, moving himself down to 3 under. Definitely what he needed after that double bogey on hole 9. Now over to Dave to save par. He does. John now gonna have his opportunity at birdie. Connects on it.
Not for a putt. No, it wasn't.
Bros now walking over to tap it in for bogey. He does. Now moving on over to hole 11. Guardian trees blocking it. Going to be just a right hand forehand for most of our players. John, just as basic lefty backhand. 214 feet. Some trees on the right side of the basket can make putting very hard if you go a little bit deep on this hole. Gonna want to be touchy as it is a short hole. First up to the tee box, we got John Mahan. John going with the wide lefty backhand, just trying to get it to settle down. Goes a little bit high, but the trees kind of save him. He's gonna have a chance at birdie here, about 10 feet away.
That shot got John Porks.
Over to Andrew. With the righty forehand, throwing his Toro. He's got a great line out of his hand. Just needs it to settle down. Catches about the bottom of the basket. Skips away. Still a decent chance at birdie. Now over to Dave. Trying to replicate what Andrew just did. Going wide with the righty forehand. Going to be a little bit short than he probably initially wanted, but about 25-foot comeback putt for bird. Now over to Bros, electing to do a standstill righty forehand. Going high, trying to just get it to crash down on hyzer. Not the distance that he wanted. Throwing a little bit too high. Got a little bit of a pending putt here. Trying to go a little bit of Anheuser, just misses it on the right side. He's going to be a little bit farther back for the par putt. Bros now for par. connects on it, dead center.
Like, bro, my putts today are just...
Now Andrew from a very similar spot, looking to get birdie here. Try and chase down Dave on the lead. He's going to pull it to the right side, unable to connect.
That's insane.
Now over to Dave for bird. He's going to connect, moving himself down to 6 under. Now over to John for birdie. Should be a tap in. He misses it on the left side. Throws another disc. Probably shouldn't have done that one. But we're not going to count it. That's not a stroke here. Andrew tapping it in for par. And John tapping his in for par. Definitely not what he wanted on that hole. Moving on over to hole 12, 287 feet. The initial gap that you're going to want to try and hit is just past this pine tree on the right side, just trying to get it to slide up. One of the tougher holes on this course. A lot can go wrong if you don't hit this line the way you need to. Relatively flat green. The drive slightly uphill. Now over to Dave, who's sitting at 6 under. Looking to line up his shot. Just a righty forehand for him. Doesn't get it wide enough. It's going to crash down on the right side. Got through those trees pretty luckily. Still going to have a chance at birdie. Just not the ideal line that he wanted. Now over to John. Try and chase down the leader. John with a good shot. Almost too good. Too straight. Catches those trees on the outside by that bench. Still has a chance at birdie, but not an easy putt at all coming up for him. Now Andrew with the righty forehand. Gonna be a good shot. Finds it dead center outside of circle 1, probably deep circle 2. Got a 50-foot comeback putt for him. Bro's going with the righty backhand.
Slide.
Not wide enough and too low. He's going to be behind those pine trees. Now he's going to go with the forehand, just trying to get up and out. Pulls it a little bit to the left, catches those branches, and rolls down and settles just outside circle 1. Andrew now try and get birdie. Misses it high and to the right. John now from inside the woods, trying to get birdie here. The deep 35-foot putt coming up. It's a little ollie off the left side of that basket. Unable to cash in on the birdie. Now Dave over for a chance at bird. Catches the left side of the chains, moving him down to 7 under. Starting to walk away with this lead. Throws now to try and save par. He misses it on the right side. Andrew now for par. Pulls it left. Probably should have took a little bit more time lining that one up. He's going to have to settle with bogey. Now all tied up with his brother. As long as he can make this putt for par. John taps it in for par. Both Mayans now at 2 under. Rose looking to tap in his bogey putt. Pulls it on the left side. Not what he needed at all. He's going to tap in for the double bogey, moving him up to 3 over. Not the round he's wanting to have today. But we're moving on over to hole 13, 254 feet. Very downhill. Trees kind of guarding the basket on the left and right side. If you go deep, could be a problem for you. Or if you miss it on the right side, could make a birdie putt. Pretty difficult. Some roots on the bottom. near the basket, but speed control is going to be the key to trying to get an easy birdie on this hole. Dave first on the tee box, sitting at 7 under. Going with the forehand, looks really good out of his hand. Going to hyzer out. Going to be in those trees, but it's still wide open from that position. Going to be a good chance at birdie. Now over to John, just trying to get a little hyzer flip. Not going to get it wide enough on the left side that he wanted. He's going to be on those right side of the trees. That bigger oak tree might cause some problems with him for that birdie putt. Now over to Andrew, throwing his green Toro. Great line out of Andrew. Going to be a little bit deep of the basket, but not a whole lot you can complain about there. Now over to Bros. Going with the sole righty backhand. Bros trying to chip away at his score of 3 over. He's going to do a pretty good job at it. Now over to John for bird. He's going to elect to go over that branch, trying to get that nose down and maybe crash into those chains. He's going to miss it a little bit high. Dave now for birdie, about 25 feet away from the pin. Going to connect on it. Gorgeous, gorgeous putt from Dave there. Moving on over to 8 under. Andrew now for birdie. Connects, sending him to 3 under. Now Bros up for the birdie putt, trying to chip away at his 3 over score. And he connects on it. Definitely a feel-good putt after that unfortunate double bogey on the previous hole. Now over to John for par. He's got it. 3 birds and a par here on hole 13. Now making our way over to hole 14. 245 feet. A tight gap initially off this tee box. That can make it a little bit hard for our players. Got to keep the disc low in the air. Don't want to get it caught too high. Could catch some of those branches. But after you get out of that initial gap, pretty much wide open. Flat green for our players here. Dave, first one up on the tee box. Going with that righty forehand. A little bit low on the height. He's going to have a long putt to come back for bird. Now over to Andrew. Not wide enough that he needs, but he's definitely going to have the distance. It's going to skip over to the right side by those brush. Over to Bros now. Bros going with the righty backhand. Perfect hyzer flip out of Bros. Trying to catch some chains, unable to. Definitely was running that one. He's going to find himself deep and almost on that hole 15 tee box. Now over to John, our sole lefty player. John with the little hyzer flip. Good height on it. He's going to be a little bit short. Probably just inside circle 1. Now over to Dave for a deep birdie putt. Looking to be about 60 feet away from the pin here. Great effort. Hits the top of the frame. Unable to get it to drop. Now Bros from maybe the same distance at Dave, but the opposite direction. Trying to get bird. Trying to continue to chip away at that score. Good line out of his hands. Just hyzers out early. Unable to get that birdie. Over to Andrew inside of the thorn bush. He's just going to have to lay up. Too dense to get any decent putt towards the basket. Over to John now for bird. Taking his time, lines it up. Lets it rip. Catches the basket perfectly. He's going to be back tied up with his brother at 3 under.
Holy crap.
Over to Bros now for par.
Thank you.
As soon as John clears his disc out of the basket. Now over to Bros for par. And he connects. Andrew now, after laying up outside of those brush, gonna try and tap it in for par, and he does. Still sticking with 3 under for him. Over to Dave now. Little pump fakes again, and he taps it in for par. He's feeling good about that one. He knows his lead is slowly but surely continuing to grow. As we head on over to hole 15, 230 foot, a little bit of an uphill shot, plays a little bit more like 250 with the uphill, but just a pretty much straightforward righty backhand. John going to have a little bit more challenge with the lefty, with those trees, low hanging branches over the basket. He's going to have to get it low once he gets near that basket. He's first up on the tee box. Show him how it's done. Looks high, but it's going to be perfect. He's going to just sneak underneath those branches. He's going to have a tap in birdie. Now Dave, he's just going to go look for this high sky hyzer with his eagle. Just have it crash down right under the basket. Lost up in the sun. And it's going to come crashing down a little bit short for him. But definitely still an opportunity at birdie. Probably just outside circle 1. Now over to Andrew. He's going flatter. A little bit of an overstable disc there. It's going to crash similar to where Dave's was. 2 different lines, but 2 pretty similar outcomes. Now over to Bros. Try to do the same thing, but a little bit better. He's going wide. And it comes down perfectly in front of the basket. Disc doing some dancing on the ground, but he should have a tap-in birdie. Dave now for bird. From just outside circle 1, it looks to be about 35 feet away. He's going to miss it on the right side. Over to Andrew now from a very similar position, maybe a foot or 2 closer. Andrew missing it high right this time. He's going to be farther than Dave for the comeback putt for par. Andrew catches the basket. Going to be par for him. Over to Dave now to try and replicate. Dave with a par. Trying to give nobody any chances to come back in this round. Over to Bros now. What should be a tap-in birdie, and he does do exactly that. John now doing the same thing, hopefully. No funny business this time. Make sure that one's just over the basket before he drops it in. Now moving on over to hole 16, 214 feet. For our righty players, it's just going to be a high sky hyzer pond on the backside, so you don't want to go deep, especially if you like this disc a lot. You don't want to be losing it on this hole. Trees guarding the basket from the front side. There is a forehand line. Very hard to do. John going to be doing something very similar to what would be a righty forehand, but he's going to go high and wide to the left, just trying to get this to crash down right in front of the basket. Doesn't get much better than that. A little bit of ground play there at the end, but he's going to have a decent putt or bird. Bros now going with this high sky hyzer line. Bros sitting at even.
Sit down.
Hammer Guy's losing it up in the sky. Smashes it off of hole 17's tee box. He's going to be very deep for the birdie putt. Dave now trying to replicate another sky hyzer. Trying to get a better outcome than Bros. Catches some trees at the end, and it drops down perfectly.
Sick. Very sick.
Now over to Andrew. Scaring the water there a little bit. Catches some trees, thankfully. If not, that one would have been gone in the water. Glad to keep that one in his bag. Now he's coming back for the birdie putt. Very difficult to try and get that one to come back for birdie, but you can't complain when your disc stays dry. Now over to Bros, past hole 17's tee box. Great run at it. Misses it on the right side. Now over to John for birdie, sitting at 4 under now. Trying to chase down Dave in any way that he can. Connects center chains. That's going to move him down to 5 under. Little jog up. Bros now to save par. Got a 15-foot par putt coming for Bros. He misses it on the right side.
Come back over.
It's a 3-putt.
Once again, Bros back on the putt. A little bit of a 3-putt, as he just said. He connects for bogey. Don't we all love a 3-putt? Happens to the best of us. We don't love seeing that, though. Andrew hits his putt on the top left side of the basket, unable to catch it. It pops out, spits out for bogey. Dave showing off his signed Calvin Heimberg Toro, signed by the Calvin Heimberg, the disc that just got him that birdie that moves him to 9 under as we head into hole number 17. 208 foot trees left and right. Don't want to be anywhere near those. Try and keep it as straight as you possibly can for righties. A little bit of hyzer at the end. Should crash nicely for you. Flat green. Not a whole lot of roots to worry about. Just a very tough gap to hit, about 20 feet wide. And what better way to start off this hole with the lefty, probably the hardest shot out of the group, going with his Axum putter. Goes a little bit deep, catches some trees, and it drops down. He's going to be about 15 feet away from the basket. Not an easy putt with all those branches and thorns sticking right in front of him. Now for Dave, the righty backhand. Trying to get some ground play. Gets a great skip off the disc, and that's going to set him up perfectly for bird. Now over to Andrew. And it's going to get stuck in his hand. A little bit of a grip lock, a little bit of a shank. And it's going to be tough to get out of that one. Now over to Bros. Going to be trying to do something very similar to what Dave just did. Not something similar to what Andrew just did. Bros now throwing. Looks very good out of the hand. Catches one of those trees on the left side, but perfectly skips up. He's going to have the best putt on this hole. Andrew, no other options but to lay out there. Now, trying to throw it in for par. Trying to get a little bit of a skip. It's going to roll on over. It's going to be a tough putt for bogey. He's going to be the first one up. 15 foot, a little bit of a nervy one. Catches the left side. Disc playing some tricks with his heart, but settles inside of that basket. He's going to be okay with that bogey there. Now over to John for bird. He taps that one in, moving down to 6 under. But at this point, I don't think anyone's catching Dave. Something absolutely detrimental would have to happen to Dave on this last hole as he just taps in for birdie, moving his to double digits under par at 10. Now over to Bros for the birdie putt. He connects, moving himself to even. Dave just got to play simple here. Doesn't really have to do a lot. Feeling good. Now as we head over to hole 18, 233 feet. Pine trees on the left side are back, and a lot of brush and thorns on the right side of the fairway. Going to be a pretty standard forehand for all of our righty players and a pretty standard lefty backhand for John on this final hole. A little bit of a slope on the green. Can allow for some skips, but shouldn't be too much of a problem for our players. John going very high with his lefty backhand. Going to crash down. He's going to be inside circle 1. Dave now just trying to park it, trying to get par, but doesn't look like anyone's going to catch him on this hole. Going with that signed Toro by Calvin Heimberg. And he's going to be inside 15 feet. Doesn't really get much better than that, folks, to end off his round. Trying to chase that 11 under as we head on over to Bros, who's trying to finish off his round on a high note. Throws it high on that forehand. It's going to catch those trees before he could beat them. And he's probably just going to have to elect to lay up after that initial drive. Over to Andrew now. Flat with the Toro on the forehand. And it's going to slide up beautifully for him. He's going to have a tap-in birdie to finish off his round. Going to be feeling good about this one.
Beautiful.
Bros, not really able to see a whole lot of basket and just seeing a whole bunch of thorns. He's just going to go for a little bit of a tomahawk. Catches that tree, and he's going to settle down for that attempt at par. Now we're over to John, about 2 feet back from where Bros just landed. John, not tap in. Decently hard putt for birdie. He's going to catch the right side of the basket. Not able to finish his round off with a birdie, but he's going to have a tap-in par. He's going to finish at 6 under.
That's crazy.
Bros now trying to tap it in for par. Another 15-foot putt for him. And he connects dead center. Over to Dave now. To finish this round off for him, and he does. Taps it in for birdie. He's going to finish his round at 11 under. A great round for Dave. He's winning this round for the card. Much love from the fellas for that. John finishing off with par. Andrew just tapped his in for birdie. What a great round from all of our fellas here today at the lovely Kenilworth Park in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Dave just throwing some discs up in the air, trying to come back down and catch it. Thank you all for tuning in to this edition of the Kenilworth Classic. We're going to be looking back now at the back nine review. Dave finishing out on top with 11 under. Perfect round, no bogeys. Same thing for John, finishing 6 under, no bogeys for him. Andrew finishing 2 under after a very good start on the front nine, not so much on the back nine. And Bros squeezing out an even round after a lot of color on his scorecard. Thank you all for tuning in to the Kenilworth Classic. I hope you all enjoyed. Please leave a comment, leave a like. Let me know what I did right. Let me know what I did wrong. Thank you all for tuning in.